Hello there, welcome back. So, in my last video, we talked about creating some basic test case structure. In short, we did created a before method and after method part which are going to execute before my test case execution start and once the test case execution is finished. Okay, we might need to add few more stuff into these particular methods which we are going to add as and when it is required, and that's how we learn it, right? So now today, this session I'll create some test cases. Okay, so what I was thinking, like, before I go ahead and create this end-to-end test case, because in end-to-end test case, let me open my uh, test case sheet which we are going to use for automation. Give me a minute. Okay, it is test cases. Okay, so we have two kinds of test cases. One is end-to-end test cases. Okay, for this I have already walked you through like what and all details we need to enter on every screen, and then finally we will verify the details on choose price option page, where we will select what kind of plan we are selecting, and then we'll enter the personal details. Then our email should be sent. Okay, so for this we need many more details. Okay, so for this we need excel readers and all those stuff, right? So we will park this particular test cases for a couple of videos, and first we will try to cover this error related scenario so that we'll get little confidence how the things works. Okay, so first I'll try to automate these two test cases, and so there could be something more like this, right? But I have just drafted something too like this. And then once I'm done with these two scenarios, then we'll talk about reporting part, how we can include the reports, what are test engine reports, what is extent reports and all. And once we are done with that, then we will start with this end-to-end test cases, where we'll talk about two different approaches, basically how we can read the data from excel by using data provider, and by using basically we'll put it in data provider or in hash map directly. So we'll see that stuff here, but for now let's see how we can automate some small test cases. Okay, so that will get bit confidence. Okay, so I'll close this end-to-end test cases part as of now, and we will be working on this error tests. Okay, so my first test case name is error message on payload. Okay, so let me rename my test method. I'll rename it something like error message on payload field. Now let me check if I have that field, because I'm referring to kinds of application. Give me a minute, guys. Okay, I don't have payload. That payload should be under camper. Yeah, payload is here, but okay, anyway, we can select anything. I'll pick up camper and we'll enter the value into this camper payload. Okay, not an issue. Fine. So payload field. Okay, and here what we are going to do is we are going to verify error message. Error message. Okay, and so see, we are not going to hard code the data mostly, right? But for error related scenario, even if we hard code, there shouldn't be any challenge, until and unless you are, even if your error scenarios are dynamic, in that case you might not need to hard code. But if your error scenarios are very much static, then there shouldn't be any problem even if you hard code your test data for verification of error messages. Okay, so let us start. So what we need to do to what my test case is, in this particular payload field I am going to enter value more than 1000, that is 10,000, and I should see the error message like the number should be in between 1 to 1000. That is what my simple test case is. Okay, so how to proceed? uh, First I should be able to enter data into this payload field. Okay, give me a minute, because I have written the objects for motorcycle. Let me check if I can use any field for motorcycle. The first one I have mentioned payload, second one I have mentioned total weight. Let me check the cylinder capacity box. Okay, I'll talk about cylinder capacity. Let's say if I enter value in cylinder capacity more than 2000, then I should get an error. Let me uh, on cylinder capacity, give me a minute. cylinder capacity. If I enter value more than 2000, I should expect an error, and I'm going to enter value as cylinder capacity is more than 2000, that is I will enter 3000, right? And I should get some error messages like the value number should be in between 1 to 2000. Okay, so this is what my test case is. Okay, so the very first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to the application. Okay, then click on motorcycle, then I will enter the data into cylinder capacity, and then I will verify for this particular message. That's what my steps are. Okay, now the very first step, navigate to the application. Okay, so navigation part is already handled, right? Let me write down the steps. So first part, open browser and navigate. Okay, so this particular stuff is already handled in before method, so we need not to worry about this. This is very much common part. Second stuff is we need to click on motorcycle. Okay, we need to click on motorcycle. So motorcycle is present on home page, right? So point to mention here is present on home page. Okay, third step, once I click on motorcycle, enter the value in cylinder capacity text box. Enter cylinder capacity. Okay, so these are my 4 steps basically which I need to work on. Okay, so let's start one by one. First step, I need not to worry. Second step, click on motorcycle. Motorcycle is present on home page. Okay, now let us go to our page object, because for home page we have already created one page object called as home page objects, right? And here we have a page objects for motorcycle. This is what we should use, right? And now the question here is how to get this driver, because I have explained it in my earlier videos, right? We need this driver, why we create this constructor and all this stuff, right? So how to get this driver? So since we are using a static driver in this case, right, in test space, we will be directly extending this test space into all our classes of page objects, so that we will get this driver, right? So what I'll do is I will simply extends, okay, extends test space. That's it. Now my error should have gone, right? Now there is no error. And let me remove this unused imports. So you see this Chrome driver, web driver, by these are not used, right? So shortcuts to remove this unused imports is Control Shift O. Okay, Control Shift O. All unused imports will get removed. Okay, so out of this particular stuff, I want this motorcycle web element. How to, now the question is how to call this web elements. Okay, so in page objects model, what we do is we do not call the web elements directly outside those classes. We do create the own methods over here. For example, public void click on motorcycle link, and then I will simply, how to click for motorcycle, I already have this web element, right? I'll take this and I will say click. That's it. So now wherever I need to click on motorcycle link, I'm going to call this particular method click on motorcycle link. But now since this is a method, right, and for what this method is for, click on motorcycle link on homepage. It's very good to mention the comments. So how to call this method? In order to call this particular method, I should create object of this particular class. Now where to create the objects? So I can create objects into this particular test case. I can do that because into this particular class I want to call those methods. I can create object here, but if I create object over here is then it will be applicable only for this specific class, right? I will be calling those objects into my other classes as well, because for my end-to-end test case as well I would be needing those methods, right? So what's common? So common is test base for all. So let us create those objects into test base, right? Or rather than creating in test base, let us create one more class. So what I'll do is I will create one class where we will initialize all the objects. I'll say objects repo. Okay, and under objects repo I will create objects of all the classes whichever we want. So I'll say public What's the class name? Class name is homepage objects. Homepage, I'll say homepage is equal to new homepage objects. Imported because it belongs to different package. That's it. Now this homepage will be okay, it is an object repo class. Now we want it in these classes, right? This particular classes, not this one. We want it basically in test cases, but in test cases we are already extending test base, and we know that multiple inheritance is not possible. So what I'll do is I will extend that in test base. So I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Okay, now why I am doing this? So for object repos, we have created a separate class, right? And whatever objects I am creating over here, I need to access these objects into all of my test case classes. But in this test case classes, I am already extending test base, right? And I cannot extend multiple classes because you know the limitations of Java, right? I can handle that in a separate way called as uh, interface, but that is going to be very tedious, right? And in automation I more focus on finding out the defects rather than creating my framework as a complex one, right? And that should be agreed by everyone. Okay, so what I will do is, because I cannot extend multiple classes, I'll achieve multi-level inheritance in this case, right? So my error test is extending to test base, right? And my test base now will extend to object repo. So whatever I have in object repo will be there for test base, and whatever there in test base will be there in error test indirectly, right? Multi-level inheritance, right? So now whenever I want to click on home page, I want to get the home page objects. I'll say home page and dot. I should be able to see the method called as click on motorcycle link, right? That's how I achieved this particular step. Let me delete that now because we already know what we are doing. Okay, now I want to enter the data into cylinder capacity. How? So again, where is cylinder capacity? Cylinder capacity is present on motorcycle and under enter vehicle data page. Let us go. Enter vehicle data page. Again, extends because we need to get the driver. So extends test base. Extends test base. Done. Error is gone. And now here we want to enter data into cylinder capacity field, right? So again, how to get this particular web element? Okay, so let us create object of this particular class first, and this is something I'm going to do in object repos. So let us do public enter vehicle data. I'll say vehicle data is equal to new enter vehicle data. Let me import the package. Yeah, now by using this vehicle data, okay, by using this vehicle data over here, vehicle data dot, am I able to get the web elements? No, I am not able to get them. Okay, let us find out some other alternatives if we can get it in different way. What will happen if I make them public? Can I do that? Let me check if I can do that. Can I? Yes, I can. Now let me check if it is accessible. We'll check it in error, right? So let me check it now. You see text cylinder capacity, okay, dot, what we are trying to do is we are trying to send keys, okay, and then we will be sending the key over here. For example, I will send the data called as uh, whatever data more than 2000, right? So this is one way I can do directly, okay, but this is not recommended into page object model. So in page object model, what is recommended? Whatever in your actual test case, you will see only business readable function, not something like this, like send keys and all those stuff, click methods and all. You will not, you should not have these methods into your actual test cases, right? Otherwise we can do these things like this as well without creating methods, right? But as per the recommendation, what we will do is here we will create another method called as public void enter cylinder capacity, and then what's my cylinder capacity? It is txt underscore cylinder capacity dot send keys, and what values I should send. I can mention that values to be sent from my test case, right? So what I'll do is I will create one variable over here, string value, or I'll say cylinder capacity, right? And this is the value I should send. That's it. So wherever I want to send the value, I will simply call this particular method, right? Instead of mentioning this complete stuff, I will simply say this, and I will enter the cylinder capacity value over here. And because I'm hard coding this value over here, you are seeing the value. Otherwise, in our data driven test cases, you will not see any values like this. Everything will come from Excel spreadsheet. Okay, great. We have done with two things: clicked and entered cylinder capacity. Now let us verify the error message. To verify, uh, okay, for error message we did not wrote any page object, any web element basically. Okay, so let us write one web element. So if I enter, let's say 4 times 3, I get this message and I cannot inspect that. So how to get that? I cannot inspect. I cannot inspect. Okay, let us inspect this particular stuff, and let's see if I can get some clue. Yeah, the error message is present over here, right? You see error message is present already in the DOM. It is must be a number in between 1 to 2000. So error message is present on the class called as error, right? So let us write the XPath which is specific to cylinder capacities error, right? How can I write? I will say where id is equal to cylinder capacity and whose following sibling is equal to class is equal to error, right? Again, you should be expert into writing XPath. If you're not, do watch my previous videos, the old videos basically I have created for this. For now, I'm directly writing XPath. Id is equal to cylinder capacity. Okay, let me do Control F so that this particular window will open. Double slash, that was input. Okay, and it is my id is equal to this. Okay, and it's the next field to id, that is under span, right? So I'll say slash following sibling, right? It is the sibling and that is following to him, following sibling double quote span, right? And I can take this simple XPath, it will work. But again, just to add one more thing, I will say at the rate class is equal to error, so that in future if there are any more data is added with span tag, then my XPath will not fail, right? So now this XPath will work for my error message, right? Let me write one quick page object at the rate find by, then XPath is equal to this, and my web element is I'll say error on which field, cylinder, give me a minute, cylinder capacity. Okay, this should be good. Okay, let me remove this public as well, not required, because we are creating the method now. Okay, so now how to verify this error message? Again, for verifying the error message, we can directly use the get text method into the test case directly, but in page object model that is not as advised, right? So what we will do is, give me a minute. Okay, let us create one method for verification of error message. I'll say public void uh, could be get error message, get error message on cylinder capacity. Okay, and how to get the error message? So it is something we have created the web element already, it is this one, right? And how to get the text out of the web element? By using get text method, right? So get text, and the point here is we are getting a text, right? So whenever someone calls this get error message, I should return him, right? In whenever he call me, I should return him a particular error message, right? So I will say return this, right? And since this is a string, so I should change my return type as string, right? So whenever someone calls this, I should return him a string. Okay, so now I should be good. Okay, so it is present under the same page object vehicle data. I'll say vehicle data dot get error message on cylinder capacity. Now here this method is returning me a type of string, right? So this is my string. I'll say string actual error message, actual error message. Okay, and what is my expected error message? My expected error message I should know, right? I should be having it somewhere. What is your expected error message? So I'll say string expected. Give me a minute, guys. Expected error message is equal to whatever error message it is, right? So for example, let me write down initially dummy, so that we will get to know that what happen if the test case fails, right? And now you should be aware about assertion part, right? Assertion part from testng. We do not use if else statement to compare the things, we do use asserts, right? So assert is coming from testng. So if I do assert dot assert equal, right? So whatever, right? So the first one is actual. What is my actual? My actual message is actual error message. What is my expected? Second part is expected error message. And I can put this much only, or I can add a third attribute which will tell me failure, or I'll say error message, just to give some meaningful message if my comparison is failing. I'll say error message is not as expected on cylinder capacity field. Okay, this should be good enough. Okay, and that's it. So okay, so I'm good now. Let me execute. Okay, there is some error. And what's that error? The error says uh, cannot instantiate class insurance calculation motorcycle error this. Okay, give me a minute. Why we're getting this error? On which line we are getting cannot instantiate a class insurance calculation underscore motorcycle dot error test dot motorcycle cannot instantiate. Okay, did I ask to instantiate? No, I have used testng, and okay, it is not allowing to create the objects. Why? Let us understand. Give me a minute. Let me see the root cause. Caused by invocation target exception. Okay, where stack overflow error. Okay, so okay, so stack overflow error we are getting on, okay, almost on the very first initialization we are getting stack overflow. Okay, so this could be error during the initialization. And where are we initializing it? Under object repos, right? Okay, or let us do one thing, because this initialization is not happening, right? So that should be the problem. So we get this stack overflow error if there are some receive call, and I think that should get solved if I make it as a static over here. Static and static. Again, in our next framework, what we're going to talk, we are not going to make anything as a static, but I just wanted to show you how we can code in different ways, right? And okay, so what we'll do is I will just create these objects over here, and I will initialize them in my test base. Give me a minute. In test base, right, where we do before method, right? So here I'm going to initialize them, right? Because at this particular place my driver will get some value, right? And once driver get value, that value will get passed over here, and then this particular all these web elements will get initialized, right? That's the reason I'm putting all those initializations under all those object creations under this particular setup method. Okay, let me do that for second stuff as well. Okay, and let me do that in my test base again. Okay, should be good now. Let us try and execute. Oh, excellent. Now test execution has started. Okay, it is navigating to the URL what we have given into properties file. Now it should click on motorcycle and navigate to fill vehicle data, where it will enter some value, cylinder capacity. It's loading still. Okay, it's loaded, and you see it has clicked on motorcycle, and now it should take me to the motorcycle link, motorcycle page. Yeah, we are there, and it has entered cylinder capacity and it is failed, and there should be assertion error. Yeah, and you see there is the assertion error. It says error message is not as expected on cylinder capacity field. So this is the custom message what we have added, right? If you do not add this message, then you will see only this kind of stuff: expected is done but found must be this. So we will not, I will not be able to understand on which particular field we got that particular error. So that's the reason I prefer adding custom messages. All right, so this should be my actual expected message basically, right? And if I run it now, it should give me the success. Okay, and yes, it is passed now, and that's it. So if you see into this results, you see the one test case is passed, right? And in TestNG you must be knowing, right? It generates one and let me refresh. Okay, it generates a test output folder, and under test output folder it generates the email label report, right? But this report is not a kind of good. So what we will do is, in our next video we will automate the other scenario, and after that we will talk about how we can in reports into this particular scenarios. Okay, so that's pretty much for this particular scenario. Thank you.